Marc Marquez edges closer to Rossi's historic record. The San Marino Grand Prix at Misano turned into another chapter of Marc Marquez's relentless pursuit of MotoGP greatness. After a painful crash in Saturday's sprint race, the Spaniard rose with the heart of a champion on Sunday, delivering a dramatic victory in the main race against Valentino Rossi's protégé, Marco Bezzecchi. This win not only marked Marquez's 11th victory of the 2025 season, but also solidified his position at the top of the championship standings. At this point in the season, with only a handful of races remaining, it feels inevitable. Marc Marquez is on the brink of sealing the 2025 MotoGP World Championship title. If Marquez does secure the crown, it will be his 7th world title in the Premier class, adding to the 6 he already holds. That would place him alongside the legendary Valentino Rossi, who also has 7 titles in MotoGP's top tier. For Marquez, who last tasted championship glory in 2019, this achievement would symbolize not only a triumphant comeback but also a validation of his enduring greatness. Yet, the mountain remains higher still. Standing above both Rossi and Marquez is Giacomo Agostini, the eternal icon of motorcycle racing, with 8 Premier Class championships to his name. If Marquez can maintain his current momentum, even that seemingly untouchable record could one day fall. Sunday's Misano victory carried additional weight for Marquez's personal journey. It was not just about the win itself, but about resilience and redemption. Crashing out of the sprint race and facing the jeers of a crowd filled with Rossi loyalists, Marquez had every reason to fold under pressure. Instead, he responded the only way he knows how, by fighting back. The duel with Marco Bezzecchi was nothing short of spectacular. Bezzecchi, riding with the determination of a true heir to the Rossi legacy, refused to give Marquez an easy path. Lap after lap, he pushed the Spaniard to his absolute limits. But in the end, it was Marquez's mix of experience, bravery, and unmatched racecraft that carried him across the line first. With this victory, Marc Marquez also reached another milestone, his 125th career podium in MotoGP. The record, however, still belongs to Valentino Rossi, who stands at an untouchable 199 podiums. The gap remains at 74, but given Marquez's resurgence and consistency in 2025, fans cannot rule out the possibility of him closing that distance in the coming seasons. For Ducati and its passionate tifosi, the San Marino GP was also a moment of pride. Hosting a home race with record-breaking attendance, Misano became the perfect backdrop for Marquez's statement win. The fact that he achieved it while riding for the iconic Italian brand only amplified the emotions felt across the paddock and grandstands. As the MotoGP circus now shifts its focus to Japan, the question is no longer whether Marc Marquez will win the 2025 championship, but when. And once that happens, history will remember the season as the one where Marquez not only dominated the track but also climbed shoulder to shoulder with the giants of the sport, Valentino Rossi and Giacomo Agostini. For the fans, it is a privilege to witness this moment in time. For Marquez, it is a chance to cement his place as one of the greatest riders MotoGP has ever seen. Marc Marquez crushes Aprilia boss Massimo Rivola's hopes after Misano showdown. The Misano World Circuit once again witnessed a thrilling clash in the 2025 MotoGP season. Aprilia Racing, led by Marco Bezzecchi, came into the weekend with strong hopes of finally conquering the dominance of Ducati and Marc Marquez. But when the checkered flag dropped, those dreams were shattered once more by the relentless brilliance of the Spanish superstar. Throughout the season, Aprilia had been steadily improving, with Bezzecchi showing consistency and speed that caught the attention of many. His performances in practice sessions and qualifying at Misano fueled the optimism of team principal Massimo Rivola. Rivola believed this was the perfect chance for Aprilia to finally celebrate victory on Italian soil, in front of their home crowd. Bezzecchi's pace was undeniable. From the early sessions, he looked sharp and confident, pushing the Ars GP to its limits and outperforming many of his rivals. Rivola's confidence grew as Bezzecchi secured strong grid positions and looked ready to fight for the win. However, as has happened before, Marc Marquez stood in the way. Known for his fearless racecraft and unshakable determination, Marquez wasted no time applying pressure on Bezzecchi. From the very start, he shadowed the Italian's every move, waiting for the smallest mistake. The tension on track was palpable, as the two riders pushed each other lap after lap. For much of the race, Bezzecchi held the lead, his Aprilia roaring in front of the passionate Misano crowd. But Marquez was never far behind. His aggressive yet calculated style eventually paid off when he executed a decisive move to overtake Bezzecchi. Once ahead, Marquez controlled the pace, leaving no chance for his rival to recover. The heartbreak for Rivola and Aprilia was undeniable. This marked the third time this season that Aprilia's hopes had been crushed by Marquez, despite their constant improvements. While disappointment filled the garage, Rivola chose respect over frustration. He admitted that Marquez's talent was on another level, but vowed that Aprilia would not give up. Marc once again showed why he is such a difficult opponent. "We gave everything today, but it wasn't enough. Still, I am proud of Bezzecchi and the team. This is not the end, it is only the beginning of something greater for Aprilia," Rivola said after the race. Though the result stung, Aprilia's journey this season has proven they are no longer outsiders. With Bezzecchi's consistent performances and the Ars GP's development, the gap to Ducati and Marquez is shrinking. Fans and experts alike believe it is only a matter of time before Aprilia finally breaks through. Meanwhile, Marquez once again silenced his critics. With every victory, he proves that his hunger, skill, and resilience remain unmatched. In Misano, he not only destroyed Aprilia's dream but also reminded the MotoGP world that he is still the man to beat. The San Marino Grand Prix added another dramatic chapter to the 2025 season. For Aprilia and Rivola, it was heartbreak. For Marquez, it was triumph. And for fans, it was yet another unforgettable duel that showcased the beauty and brutality of MotoGP racing. The San Marino MotoGP 2025 at Misano was more than just a race. It was a story of resilience, pride, and redemption. Marc Marquez, after facing a storm of criticism and hostile Tifosi reactions during the sprint race crash, turned the entire narrative upside down by winning the main race in spectacular fashion. The atmosphere had been tense since Saturday. When Marquez crashed out of the sprint, sections of the Italian crowd erupted with cheers and mockery behavior many considered disgraceful. Yet, instead of letting negativity weigh him down, Marquez transformed anger into motivation. On Sunday, he answered all the boos in the most powerful way possible: victory. And this victory did not go unnoticed. Among those who were left stunned was Casey Stoner, the two-time MotoGP world champion and Ducati legend. Stoner, known for his sharp insight and respect for true talent, spoke with admiration about Marquez's Misano masterpiece. Marc was simply insane out there. The way he kept pushing Bezzecchi, lap after lap, with no hesitation, it was terrifying to watch, in the best sense. His ambition to win was crystal clear, and he never lifted off the pressure. That was the Marc Marquez we all know, a relentless fighter, Stoner said. For Stoner, it wasn't just about Marquez's speed. It was about his mental toughness. To face hostility from tifosi and still deliver a flawless race in their backyard was nothing short of remarkable. No rider deserves to be cheered at when they crash. It's against the spirit of MotoGP. What Marc did was the perfect answer. He didn't argue, he didn't retaliate, he just won. That's how a true champion silences the haters, Stoner added. The main race itself was breathtaking. Marco Bezzecchi pushed hard on home soil, but Marquez's consistency, braking precision, and sheer willpower made the difference. Each lap felt like a statement. He would not be broken by negativity, nor by the pressure of the Misano grandstands. When Marquez finally crossed the finish line first, the crowd that once mocked him fell silent. What remained was a scene of poetic justice, an athlete proving himself not with words, but with undeniable performance. For Stoner, this was a lesson to both tifosi and the racing world. Rivalries are natural, passions are strong, but respect must always remain at the core of the sport. Marc slapped the critics with a victory. That's the mark of greatness. People can dislike him, but they can never deny his class as a rider, Stoner concluded. The Misano 2025 weekend will be remembered not just as another race in the championship, but as the weekend Marc Marquez conquered more than a circuit. He conquered doubt, hostility, and hate with the elegance of a champion. Marc Marquez wins in San Marino, a touching gesture that moved Ducati's CEO. The 2025 San Marino MotoGP at Misano was more than just a race, it became an emotional story of respect, redemption, and class. Marc Marquez, after a difficult sprint race where he suffered a crash and was booed heavily by a section of the Italian tifosi, returned stronger and silenced critics by winning the main race in dominant fashion. What made the victory even more powerful was not only his performance on track but his gesture afterward. Instead of celebrating with his iconic number 93 flag, Marquez chose to wave the Ducati flag in front of thousands of Italian fans. In a race considered the home ground for Ducati, this symbolic act touched the hearts of many, including Ducati's CEO Claudio Domenicali. "I am truly moved," Domenicali admitted after the race. Marc showed extraordinary respect, not just for the team but also for the Italian fans. This is proof that he understands the spirit of Ducati and what it means to race here. This is not the first time Marquez has shown such humility. Earlier this season at Mugello, he made a similar choice, again putting the Ducati family and its legacy above his personal ego. For a rider who has faced intense hostility from Rossi's loyal fan base over the years, Marquez's actions represent maturity and a refusal to fuel old rivalries. Despite the boos in the sprint race, Marquez proved his true strength lies not only in his speed but also in his ability to handle criticism with dignity. By choosing respect over confrontation, he has slowly begun to change the way even his harshest critics view him. For Ducati, this win was more than just a victory on the track. It was a statement of unity and pride, proof that Marc Marquez is not only a champion but also a symbol of respect, loyalty, and class. Ducati boss furious with fans after Marc Marquez crash in San Marino sprint race. The San Marino MotoGP 2025 sprint race at Misano should have been a celebration for Italian motorsport. With a home crowd cheering, local heroes on track, and an intense battle for the win, the stage was set for an unforgettable race. Yet, the atmosphere turned controversial after a shocking incident involving Marc Marquez. Starting from P4, the 8-time world champion quickly demonstrated his brilliance. Marquez surged into second place and began chasing down race leader Marco Bezzecchi. The duel was electric, every corner filled with tension as Marquez closed the gap. Eventually, he made a bold and precise move to overtake Bezzecchi and take the lead. The crowd roared, some in awe, some in frustration. But just when victory seemed within reach, disaster struck. Pushing hard at the front, Marquez lost grip in a fast corner. His Ducati GP25 slid into the gravel, ending his race prematurely. Instead of concern, parts of the Misano crowd erupted into cheers and applause at Marquez's misfortune. The reaction shocked many, but none more than Davide Tardozzi, Ducati Lenovo team manager. Visibly angry, he condemned the Tifosi's behavior as disrespectful and shameful. "I am furious and disappointed," Tardozzi said emotionally. "Marc rides for Ducati. He risks his life for this bike, for this team, for Italy's pride. To see people celebrating his crash, it's a disgrace to the spirit of sport." Tardozzi reminded fans that MotoGP is dangerous, and every crash is a reminder of the risks riders take. Rivalries may be fierce, but respect must always remain. The sprint was eventually won by Marco Bezzecchi, with Alex Marquez finishing second and Fabio Di Giannantonio third. While Bezzecchi's win gave Italy a reason to celebrate, the Tifosi's reaction left a bitter aftertaste. For Ducati, this was more than just a lost race. It was a painful reminder that true sportsmanship goes beyond victory. It requires empathy, respect, and unity. The 2025 MotoGP Catalan Grand Prix delivered a breathtaking story filled with drama, strategy, and emotions. In front of thousands of fans at the Barcelona-Catalunya circuit, Alex Marquez shocked the paddock by winning the main race, beating his own brother, Marc Marquez, who had to settle for second place. The podium was completed by Enea Bastianini from Tech 3 KTM. Marc Marquez had a lightning start from P3, immediately taking the lead and showing the aggressive style that made him a legend. But this time, something felt different. Alex quickly fought back, overtaking Marc and controlling the race with incredible precision. What surprised many fans was Marc's response. Despite having the pace to fight back, he seemed to hold himself back, riding consistently but not attacking Alex aggressively. Lap after lap, he stayed right behind his brother, without a decisive move to retake the lead. This unusual approach caught the attention of Ducati course general manager, Gigi Dall'Igna. After the race, Dall'Igna admitted he was suspicious of Marc's performance. From his perspective, Marc could have pushed harder and possibly won the race. If that had happened, the 8-time world champion might have been able to secure the 2025 MotoGP World Championship as early as Misano. However, Marc's decision to finish second leaves the title fight slightly open. According to Dall'Igna, this might be part of Marc's strategy, waiting for the right moment to seal the championship in a more dramatic fashion, maybe at MotoGP in Japan, or even at Mandalika in Indonesia, where fan support would be overwhelming. Still, Dall'Igna emphasized his respect and pride for Marc. "Even if I'm curious about his decision today, I'm proud of Marc. He knows exactly what he's doing, and his plan is always bigger than one single race. The Catalunya GP didn't just give us a winner, it gave us a story of rivalry, family, and strategy. Alex got his moment of glory. Marc showed patience and long-term thinking. And Ducati, while slightly suspicious, knows they're on the edge of another world title. Now, all eyes turn to MotoGP and Mandalika. Will Marc finally secure his crown there? The world waits. MotoGP Catalan Sprint 2025, Pedro Acosta struggles mentally after intense duel with Marc Marquez. The Catalan MotoGP Sprint Race 2025 delivered one of the most thrilling